Hello. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I think my sound is up here. I think we have about 7 people on right now. There is a chat box. If someone wants to type in the chat box, whether or not you can hear me, that would be great. It says that I'm live. Hello, Amanda. Amanda, can you hear me? So Miss Lovely Henrietta is working to get on here. We obviously can't start until she is on. So hello, hello. Perfect, you can hear me. Hello. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Sorry, I'm like glancing over at the chat box to see who's here and in the room. I haven't done a webinar in, geez, forever. It's been a long time, so I'm excited to be here. I'll introduce myself while Henrietta is trying to get on. I am Chrissy Chin. My background is a registered nurse, and I'm a mom of one little adorable yet busy 2-year-old boy. And have one on the way, expecting in November. And I have been using essential oils with Young Living for almost 2 years. August 4th will be my 2nd year anniversary. Fell in love with them as soon as I got them after my sister just convinced me, get a kit for the house. I had a 5-month-old at the time, was using them, falling in love, was not ever going to do the business aspect, was just supporting my sister who was going to start her business journey, and just checking in on Henrietta's messages as she's trying to get on, sorry. And fell in love with the products, couldn't stop talking about them, raving about them. And so my business journey started. And I said, you know what? I can totally do this. My passion for preventative health and just helping people learn how to live healthier lives on a regular basis sort of took over. And I was like, I just need to keep teaching people about these oils. And I'd love to have more time with my son and my family and be able to do these really fun things and grow the bank account too. So I started pursuing my business journey, and I am a silver leader now. Gosh, I can't even remember when I hit silver. It's been a handful of months, November maybe. I should know that, I should. But it's been an awesome ride. It says it needs my permission to start. Okay, hang on. Well, she's having a little trouble getting in. Amanda, November. I love how Amanda says, yes, it was in November, and Katie. So I've been able to maintain silver, which is amazing, even though I have built my organization wide, trying to work towards those bigger ranks of gold, platinum, diamond, all the way up to RCD, of course. Oh, she's popping on. So I just want to keep sharing with my business team and everyone else's teams. Just more, hi. I'm just doing a little intro of myself since we were waiting for you to get on. So I just wanted to keep sharing, different ways to help others grow. I've got a handful of health professionals on my team. I know my sister has some on hers. They consist of chiropractors, acupuncturists, massage therapists. So I've been looking to interview, someone of that nature, chiropractor or anyone, to kind of pick their brain and see how they've been introducing oils to their patients, using them in their office. And then, someone who has hit, a silver or gold rank, kind of how that looks in their practice and how they're managing it all. So the lovely Miss Dr. Henrietta McElwee has graciously agreed to do this interview with me, and she's not anywhere in my up or down line. She's in my cross line. So for those of you that are new, that means that we do not financially benefit from each other whatsoever, but we're in this beautiful family. We're both in oily families. We're both under Myra as well. And that's how I was introduced to Henrietta. So welcome.
Hello, can you hear me? Is this a technology?
Yeah. No, awesome.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. This is way out of my comfort zone. Give me 100 to talk to. I'm great. But anyway, so hello.
Hello. Good. Well, thank you so much for being here. We'll try and keep this short and sweet so we can get to a couple questions if people have questions. There are a handful of people on. If you're typing questions in the chat box, I'll try and keep an eye on that, or we'll just come to it at the end so we can answer some things. So we're going to be on the video. I also have some really amazing pictures. Do you prefer to go by Dr. McElwee? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Henry is just fine. McElwee, but Henry.
McElwee. Okay. Man, I already screwed it up.
Oh, no.
All right. So we're going to snap through some pictures of her office, which is really cool. But I was thinking we could just get started just by you giving us a little background of you, your practice, how you got started with Young Living, and that.
Absolutely. Just tell me when to shut up. I'm a good talker once I get started. Let's see. So I've been a chiropractor for about 14 and a half years. I've been doing nutritional counseling for about 27. So I've very much into as healthy as I can be, all different kinds of things. I'm third generation. My mom's been a naturopath and a homeopath for about 49 years, still in full-time practice. So I've used Young Living oils. I used them probably not long after they first started, but I was never a distributor or anything like that. I guess we purchased them retail. I never even really thought about it. About 2007, I was looking because I knew essential oils were something I wanted to add to my practice. And I was looking, I knew Young Living was the best by reputation. That was years ago. And so I signed up and became a distributor. I actually did not know anyone in my area that used or sold Young Living, and I had to go out of state and ask someone to find someone with a distributor, a number, so I could sign up, because you couldn't just join then. And it was a completely different world, Young Living was then. I never had any contact. No one ever contacted me. I never talked to, met, heard from my sponsor or enroller. And so I did some things on my own. I got the oils and I was enjoying them. I didn't have any reference materials or no Facebook or anything like that. So it was an interesting journey, because I don't know, I guess I got bored with them, but then I had some life events happen, and I went inactive. And so for a few years, and actually just reactivated in 2013. And I found my new sponsor enroller online. So still didn't have anyone locally ever talk to me. So anybody that ever says their market area is saturated, no, I don't think so. So anyway, but I joined, found my sponsor enroller online. So that was, and since then, she contacted me immediately, has been, that was Susan Hyde. Thank you, Susan, and Myra Yarbrough, and Alyssa Francis. Want to make sure that I definitely thank them, because I would not have the Young Living experience without them, all of them. But, would you like more of my practice, or is that too much already?
No, I love how you got introduced. I think it's a good example of how a lot of people maybe, get started with the oils, and then without education in that community, they just feel lost, don't know what to do, or life events happen and, other things take over, and our members can go inactive. And thankfully you were inspired to reach out. Most people aren't. Which restarted your journey, which I think is great. But that's another little thing to just touch on, the importance of educating your members, your patients, and all of that, so people really can dive in and use them.
Absolutely. The other thing that I would say is when I joined, I know very, very few people that start out to do the business of Young Living. In fact, I was very adamantly I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. I was only doing it for myself, and using them, diffusing them in my office from the very beginning, because I wanted to protect myself from all the wonderful things that people bring through my office door. But my sponsor and enroller asked me from day one, would you be interested in the business? And I said, no, that's not what I'm here for. And so I was a strategic placement originally. And anyway, it's all come a long way and the opposite way around. But anyway.
Yeah, no, and it's one of the beautiful things of strategic placement for sure. I have strategically placed members and, you know, other builders or people that weren't going to be builders but turned into builders. I have had people strategically placed under me, members just to help people out, other builders because they were, you know, friends with someone else I had signed up. So, you know, everyone's journey looks different. Everyone's business looks different. I think I was explaining this before you got on, I signed up to use the oils and was not planning on doing the business. And, you know, just like you, fell in love with the products, and just sort of went for it, you know, at some point in time. Some people it's right away. Some people it's a little bit of a journey to get there. So I think getting everyone's perspective on their own business is really helpful. So thank you. Maybe just a little bit more about your practice, what it looks like. Is it just you there? Do you have anyone else with you? You know, maybe how many patients you see, just to give other practitioners an idea of how busy you are, or, you know, how they can compare their practice to yours.
Sure, absolutely. I would not consider myself a typical chiropractor, because about half of my business is nutrition and homeopathy and herbal medicine and essential oils. So chiropractors, you can't make any practitioner want to get involved in things different than chiropractic or what they do. But like I said, I'm not the typical, because half of my practice is more holistic and nutritional and things like that. I'm very small. It's been, I've been here 10 years at this office, and I was a few years by myself. Didn't have an assistant at all either. So very small. I have a part-time assistant now. I very busy, very blessed, and absolutely didn't expect to, if you ask me if I had the time to talk about oils, no, I don't really, but I do every day. You make time, you talk about them. You're, in fact, one of my most active builders right now overheard me talking to someone else about the oils in my practice, and I had just gotten my first shipment of starter guides. It was about a year and a half ago, and I said, here, look at this while I'm taking care of the next patient. And, you know, just started, I mean, I've shared and learned as I've gone. It's nothing has been planned, but you know what? When you have time to plan, sometimes you don't have people to talk to because you're not busy. So, but so yes, I would say I've always been more nutritionally oriented, and I always like to have the best quality of whatever I'm using. And so I look for companies. I only want the best. I can't talk about anything unless I believe in it. I've used it. I know someone that's used it. And so my patients know that about me. And we know, if you just look at business, it's about trust. And so people knew that if I was using it, they were seeing me use it. And anyway, so I probably got off what you asked me. I apologize. But But my practice is very small, and like I said, mostly just me, but I just incorporate it everywhere that I can. It's been a slow process over time, but first, like I said, I just started diffusing. I diffuse thieves every day, all day long, and have for now 2.5 years consistently. Rarely a day that I'm not diffusing thieves in the office. And so, and I use my oils, and I just share with people what helps me. And I look for opportunities to talk about things with them. I don't think I ever intentionally say, I'm going to talk about oils with this person today. It's, you know, their life circumstances bring it up. They might, you know, they had someone pass away in the family, or they slipped and fell or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, well, you know, this might be something that's beneficial for you, and just I might give them a sample or let them try it in the office. And it is share from the heart. It's like you can't plan it. You can't plan it to work as well as it does. It's just, it is anyway.
Yeah, no, and I think I think that's great too, that you are, you know, a one-woman show. It just kind of shows other chiropractors or health practitioners, acupuncturists, massage therapists. If it's just you, like, that's okay. You don't need this big office with, you know, other practitioners in there to make it work. You've made it work for you and just your practice. And I think that's really amazing. So that's really great. And you, if I understand, you're a gold with Young Living, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yes.
at what point did you hit that, kind of after you were like, okay, like maybe you had some strategic placement underneath you. And if I understand correctly, they were kind of, you were, you know, a leg that agreed to spend the 100 PV, even though you weren't necessarily into the business, and they were kind of putting people under to benefit and grow their business, which I have certainly done. But once you decided, like, okay, I'm gonna go for this, you know, how long did that take you to hit rank, or, you know, kind of where did you find that, or, you know, realize that, and as opposed to now, or where you are now? Does that make sense?
I would. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And a lot of people, it's kind of interesting, because in my experiences, when you share and you start sharing, and then you see, and I've heard the story literally probably over 100 times now, but you start sharing and you start to get a little bit more of a paycheck and a little bit more of a paycheck. I think even Mary Young has said, you know, when you start looking at this paycheck and it's growing, it's like, maybe I should learn more about this stuff, and maybe I should talk about this more. And it was, you know, once executive, I hit executive, and I was trying to think about dates, probably, fall 2013 was when I reactivated. It was probably about 8 months after I signed up and reactivated that I started looking slowly at the business stuff. About a year, so that would have been right as around executive, before silver, that kind of thing. Just learning more. I mean, this is crazy. I know I'm going to admit this in public, because I don't think I'm the only one, but I didn't even have a Facebook account. Like, I didn't for the first, I don't know, I'd have to ask Susan Hyde, maybe even the first year of me being, I just didn't, I have fought being anything in social media at all. And so that was one of the best things I ever did, was I said, I'm just going to get on Facebook for the private oily families groups. Like, I don't want to do anything else. And anyway, so I mean, I am so not the stereotype of everyone that's has all this expertise in social media. But so I would say about, it was about 6 months after I reactivated that I signed up my first member. And when I look back at my history, it took me, and then I think it was another month or two, and then it just, you know, I started building confidence, and I kept seeing the lives that I was changing, and I kept being advised and helped by, you know, Susan and Myra and Alyssa, and all the resources that we are given with the oily families, which are, we have no idea how blessed we are with those, because I would not be here and as successful as I am to even share with my patients without the resources that we don't have to take those hours to go and do. And I wouldn't be doing them. So anyway,
yeah, I totally agree. I take full advantage of the class notes, the graphics, all of that. And I don't spend, I did in the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm going to create my own 102 class and make all my graphics, and it just took forever. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, just embrace the fact that we have an amazing upline that creates these beautiful graphics for us that look professional, and we can just use them and just hand them out, and that's like time that we don't have to spend on it. So yes, I totally agree that our upline is amazing, and we are blessed for that, for sure.
Yeah, so anyway, I hope that answered your question. About 8 months afterwards, or 8 months after I signed up, that I started slowly, but then I would say in the last year and a half that I really just kind of just jumped all in and started doing classes about a year and a half ago, I would say, and just kind of exploded everything from there.
And how often do you do classes? And do you just do them in your chiropractic space?
I do them, so I wish I could say I consistently did them, but Myra and Susan are helping support me so that I do. Because like everybody, you probably go through phases where I'm like, oh, I'm going to do like 4 classes this month. And then you're like, oh, I'm tired. And then consistency is the key, let me tell you. I have done as many as 4 or 5 in a month. And then I've gone some months and haven't done any. Right now, thank you again for our leadership, because I would like to consistently have probably at least 2 in the office. I do them in my reception area. I move plants. We have a nice setup. I love doing classes in my office because I have such nice resource materials here and I don't have to take it somewhere else. But I have in the last probably 6 or 8 months helped go to other locations and help either do a co-class with one of my builders or do a class for someone else. Last summer I drove about an hour and did a class for one of my builders, and she had about 20 people come to it. So I do them outside of the office as well. I've just gone and been moral support. I had a builder just a few months ago wanted to give her first class, and I just sat there and I was there in case she had a question, and she did spectacular. And so I do, but most of the ones that I give, I do in my office. And yes, and I enjoy it. But yes, they're work. But anybody that thinks that any part of this is easy is not going to get the rewards that we will anyway. So
yeah, definitely. So now that we've brought up your office, let's take a look at, you sent me some pictures, which are awesome. I'm going to switch over to screen share. My lovely sister, youngest sister, who's like the tech sister, put these together in a PDF so I can just scroll through. So let's scroll through them. You can kind of talk about maybe where this is in your practice. I see, a lot of these bottles are open. So, do you just kind of grab them off the shelf and use them with patients? You can, if we get to a place where, oh, these are the ones that I sell, you can talk about that. So this is the first picture. I think it's up there.
Yep. So this is in my hallway. In my hallway, my personal goal is to own one of every oil that Young Living makes someday, and someday I will. And it keeps growing. But I actually have an area which you see right there. I think that's the single oils, and then I have another shelf that is the blends, and they're open, so people can come in and smell them. I do the Zyto Compass, and I actually just got the Itovi, and so I love if someone has a scan done, they can go and smell them or try them. I do give out samples, but I also have to be a smart business builder, and you can't give everything away, but you also can't outgive the universe. So I'm very generous and try to give out. I have little sample bottles here, and I can quickly, I've made some rollerball blends for a couple people, but these are definitely here for anyone to come in and smell and experience, because I'm the kind of person that loves to I want to smell, taste, touch things before I buy them sometimes. And that was one of my challenges in the catalog. When I saw all these different oils, I'm like, theoretically, I should know how it smells, but the blends, you just have no idea. And so I have this available it's a benefit for me and anyone that comes into the office.
I absolutely love that you have all those oils for people to just open and smell. That's awesome. Oh, goodness. There was more. Here's more down here.
Yeah, and this didn't happen over time. So not to let people, honestly, those racks I just got about a year ago. So again, it really exponentially things have expanded in the last year. No, I don't have a fancy office, and you see the dog toys on the side there on the floor. Dogs here.
Love it.
But no, nothing fancy. And I think, I think sometimes that's the most appealing, is that I'm human too. I live in the same world as my patients live. And some days I've bathed in stress away in front of my patients because I didn't know if I was going to be able to handle stress that day. And, if you can't share something that you don't believe in, and if you don't live or want to live the Young Living lifestyle, it's never, ever going to be as successful as you think it'll be. You have to, you have to live it.
Yeah, I love, you guys might be able to see my little plus sign cursor circling around this water station. Add a drop to your water and you've got some citrus oils there. I absolutely love that. Most, health offices have a little water station, if people are waiting to get water. So I think this is an awesome idea. You only need a drop, add a drop, make your water fresh. Like, I think this is really awesome. So I'm going to point that out to everyone. Love that you have.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just say, love that you have these little guides out for people to just kind of pick up and read through if they're waiting. I'm not sure what these cards are down here, but they look like, you know, just different information about oils.
And all of those things at the bottom of that rack are all open, except for a couple of those new supplements I just got recently, actually free with my monthly ER. But all of those products are open because, you know, I want someone to say, hey, I need a new toothpaste. I'm like, here, go in the bathroom, put some on your finger and try it. You know, so all of those things are open. I have patients that come in and just want to use the bathroom when they come in every time because they want to use the thieves' hand soap. So, but for the water station, we actually have glass canning jars available for you to have water because we know not to put them in styrofoam. And I should have taken a picture, but that's over by the water fountain. So that's another thing.
Very cool. Love that. Yes, I didn't even think about that. That's definitely an issue. So here, you know, you can talk about this. Just another shelf that you've got.
Yep, those are the blends, and at the bottom we have books and resources. At being a doctor, I don't, obviously there's some reference materials there that wouldn't be FDA compliant if I was having a class, but it is my reference library, and being in as a doctor's office, like, people can come in and look at those, and I'm not claiming to cure anything or do anything that I shouldn't be with as far as FDA compliance, but I do have a lot of reference materials around the office. Yes.
Cool. Another love your
That's my
red up there.
Those are that's my front desk. Behind my front, some of the things on the top left are oils that are for sale. That's just backup stock. I think the next picture is actually the rack right behind. Actually, it's right beside me here, which is those are oils that are for sale. And you see there's even some deep relief and some stress away there. So we try to buy them, keep them in my cart every month so that we have enough to share. But those are all, people can come into the office or patients and purchase them at retail. I do, because some patients, some people just don't want to have a membership. And even though some of them I might convince them over time how much they're saving and it would benefit them, occasionally people just want to come and buy an oil, or just mentioned today, sometimes I have people that will stop in and maybe even have used other brands of oils, but know Young Living might be the best, and they come and buy a bottle.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. And you know, at working the business side, we know how important it is if you want that residual income to really get people to do the membership. And we'll talk about a little bit more about that later, maybe conversions and stuff. But I do think that it's good to have some options for those that, yeah, don't really are opposed to the membership, or maybe your members that are like, oh my gosh, I'm like dying for more thieves. I can't wait for my order to come in, you know, 4 or 5 days, so they can swing in and pick it up. And so you just charge members even just the retail price. So they're paying a little bit more when they do it in your office, correct?
That's correct. I've made a couple exceptions occasionally for an emergency or something like that, but typically I think that's fair for the overhead being in the office. And whether or not you do it on this call, I also have a professional account too, which is a sister account of my member account. And so that can also, depending on if you want to resell oils, that can change your markups and that kind of thing. So
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I was actually going to ask if you had a professional account as well. And I can briefly just talk about that. So a member account, which you have an account just like most people do, where you can sign other people up. And that's how you create that business, that Young Living business, where you can receive residual income, meaning you're just getting a paycheck and you're, you know, kind of doing your thing, and it's just building and building and building. Now, the professional account, you called it a sister account, totally spot on. You can have that in addition to your member account. You cannot sign people up under that. So I do recommend to healthcare professionals to do the member account, so they can start building that business for the residual income, because I think that's really key. But the professional account will allow you to purchase 40% off of the retail price. So it's not, you're not thinking like, oh, I have my membership, oh, the professional account, I'm going to get 40% more off. It's 40% off of the retail. So really it's an extra 16% off. But if you are, you know, buying some, crazy amounts of something, like it is helpful. Still great to do big orders on your member account so that you can get those freebies. So, and that's a good question for you. Do you every month do the bulk of your buying on your member account so that you can get these freebies? Like this month, are you hitting the 425 and getting
Absolutely.
stuff?
I will be getting the promo twice. Absolutely. But yes, no, I actually rarely use my professional account because no, yeah, there's no promotions on a professional account. There's no essential rewards. There's absolutely, I actually have only used it when we did a big vendor event. And again, when I needed a bulk. The only other time I would say it comes in handy is when there's limits on things you can purchase, like one per month of something. It's nice to have a second account.
Okay, so that was something I didn't know. So with your professional account, let's say, can you order, is there a limit to, deep relief, or can you buy 10 of those if you want?
It's the same amount restrictions, which I actually think would be, which can be a negative thing for businesses, because you can't run a business or sell things with only being able to buy one per month, because that's not really enough to keep on your shelf. So no, you have the same limits as any member, and but they're not, we don't get a virtual office account, and there's no way of knowing that. So if you have a professional account, business builders, you have to let your accounts know that, because they don't know that. And if they start talking about deep relief roll-on and expect to get 10 in a month and they can only get one, that can get professionals very upset and angry. So you definitely want to know to prepare them that way, or to say, hey, put this in your account in your order every month, so that you can build up some if you want to promote it.
Yeah, definitely. So with your member account and your professional account, you can get 2, because you can get 1 on each.
That's correct.
Okay. So that is wonderful clarification. Also with things like deep relief that have a limit per one, and some of those others, that's a good opportunity to say to your patients, you can order 1 a month, with your very own account, and a good way to kind of transition them into having their own account. So they're ordering under you, you're not even having to worry about stocking the products for them, and they're getting their monthly supply.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see. Let me go back to the pictures here. Let me freeze this so we can go back. I can't remember if there was something else. Oh, you don't have a massage therapist in your practice, but I know a lot of practitioners do or have that. So I see you've got the raindrop technique. So that could be something really awesome to display up front or near, maybe if you've got flyers with your massages and pricings and all of that, have your raindrop information stuff out if your massage therapists offer that. So love that you have that kit. Love the board that you have. So you've got your next class on here. I think that's awesome.
Two of my builders are doing that class, but yes, we always try to always have a class up, and I don't have my next class filled in there on the bottom right, but yes, so we want to keep things going. But that's a class that 2 of my builders are doing, just real close to my office.
Okay, so that's another good question. So now that you've got builders under you that are interested in sharing, do you let them come into your office and say, hey, you can host a make and take here, or are you the only one that does classes in your office?
I have co-hosted with some of my builders. Other than that, it's only been me by myself or co-hosting with people. I'm not against people coming in. The builders doing this make and take was actually, they were being very thoughtful of me, because they know how busy I've been, and they know how much work it is to clean up after a make and take in my office. So that's why it's only about a block from my office. But so no, I haven't had anyone just come in. And actually this Saturday, I have a brand new builder giving her first class in my office, and I'm just going to be observing and here for support. So that'll be a first. But other than this coming up weekend, it's always been me or co-hosting with people. Yes.
Okay, and so when she comes in to teach her first class, she'll be inviting her own people to your space. You'll be inviting your patients, and then if you have new patients that sign up, they'll sign up with you. If she brings in people, they sign up with her, or how are you going to work that?
This is actually a private class this time. So she's just doing her guests. It's almost like it would be my living room I'm offering, but I don't have a big enough living room for her to do this at. So this is all her. Anyone that she's inviting, she'll be the sponsor and enroller. How I work it for my classes are always open to anyone, whether it's patients want to invite friends or builders want to invite people. It always is whoever invited the person to come would be their sponsor and enroller. Most of the attendants at my classes have not been new prospects. Most of the people that come to my classes have been members for weeks, months, years, and never really, either they're not using their oils or they don't know enough about them. I'm much more the educator and love enjoying and sharing that information. So I do have new people come to classes, but the majority of people are just here to learn more and to branch out and get more education, I would say.
Okay. Love that. And I do like, you know, even though you're not having your patients and this is private, I do think as a business builder, that can be really valuable for you because you're giving her the space, and yes, you're going to be there. So it's your time, but you're helping her learn how to do it so she can go on and do it herself. And that's the whole point of duplication, finding people who want to keep sharing so that they're sharing and you can keep doing your other things. So I love that you're just letting her do a private class.
So just so practitioners realize, I should, but I don't know the exact number of how many new patients I've gotten for chiropractic out of vendor events or out of classes I've done. That was never my intention, but I end up with a lot of new nutritional clients and chiropractic patients from just giving and sharing Young Living. And so again, don't underestimate other benefits. So.
Yeah, I definitely think in this space, it's a really awesome synergistic, you know, partnership with the oils and the chiropractic. Your chiropractic patients turn into oily members, and your new oily members turn into chiropractic or nutrition. I think that's why it works so well. And why I think it's a lot of offices are starting to bring in Young Living. I think some are intimidated or, you know, are concerned about the network marketing aspect when you're trying to run a chiropractic business, and are a little bit timid to be involved in that and maybe just want the professional account. But I think it's getting really popular to do the membership and be able to build a business just alongside your other practices and intertwine it to build that residual income.
If I can interrupt a second, the first thing is I would say that first of all, one of the turning points, of me getting involved in the business was, how can we not share with our patients or with our clients, because we hear them coming in, they're buying junk, they're not getting help, they're not having support in their health, they're wasting their money, in my opinion. And I mean, it's like it's crazy that we would share this secret of Young Living and not tell other people. I mean, anyway, that just gets at me, because, and that's why I had to start telling people, because they're like, oh, well, I use lavender. I get lavender from the health food store. And so at my front desk, I have one of the health food store brands of peppermint, for example. And I say, well, here, why don't you smell Young Living's peppermint? And then here, why don't you smell, this is the brand. I don't hide the label. This is what they're selling you at the health food store. You tell me if there's a difference. And I tell you that, anyway, that little thing happening, quality does matter. And people are becoming educated and realize that there's a difference. And as far as the MLM, multi-level marketing thing goes, why there's nothing, I understand some of the stigma, but I don't, because Young Living is just phenomenal. I mean, there's no, I guess I can't even put it in words. I don't understand. Honestly, I'll say this because I am a practitioner. Honestly, I think a lot of it is excuses when people say, oh, well, it's an MLM. I don't want to put it in my office. I don't want to do it in my office. Well, why not? We sell if you sell anything in your office, it's investing in that company and promoting it because you believe in it. I would hope that because of your integrity and, you know, the quality. But honestly, most doctors, and I'll say this because when we don't do things, it's usually because we're too lazy. We don't want to take the time to learn something or to maintain something or do something. But that's our own headspace. We need to change that. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a rant.
No, I think that's a really good point, that when you bring other supplements into your practice, you're profiting off them to say, it's against, whatever to do the MLM. It's the same thing. It's just a different way to do it. But no, I think that's a good.
We deserve to have wellness, purpose, and abundance. And in my personal opinion, I mean, that's God intends for us to have the benefits of that. But anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Let's just part of my reception room. The why we had purchased for a vendor event. There's some binders there under the Ningxia, which have different presentations. The slides I printed out and put in binders down there so people can come in and look through them. I have at the Y, there is the whole premium kit open so people can smell the oils, put a drop on if they need to. Often if someone asks me a question, I love walking them over to that. And I tell you, one of the best decisions I made was probably about a year and a half ago, was when I invested in myself by purchasing a couple premium starter kits to have on hand in my office. And I tell you, if people are like me, and when I want to buy something, I want it now. I don't want to wait 7 to 10 days. And so having those kits and having, when they sign up on the spot, giving them their bags, giving them their goodies, their flyers, their, whatever to go home, and let them start it right there. And then I get those kits sent to my office to replace it. And right now I have probably 5 kits at my office that I do that with. Originally, I just had 1. And that has been one of the best investments to close that. And I'll say that because we do have a business, but to get them to be able to make that decision there.
Yeah, that's really great. I have an extra kit. I used to have 2. I have 1 right now because I opened the other one to use it. But you do get those people that are like, I want it now. I can't wait. Or I'm going on vacation tomorrow and I need to take this with me. So having the ability to say, here's a kit in your hands right now, take it home, use it tonight. And then, yes, that's how I work it too. We sign up with their account and then I just have their kit shipped to my address. So it sounds like you just have it shipped to your office. And then obviously they would change the address the next time and have their stuff sent to their own place. But yeah, that's great.
And I also offer that for any of my builders at all, and even members. When some people sign up and they said, I don't want to do the business, I say, fine, but I know you're going to share this with some of your family and friends. If you share it and you don't know how to help them sign up, have them come by my office and I'll be happy to sign them up. So, and when they do, that person is the sponsor and the enroller. But it's amazing how many people you think can go online and just do it by themselves and will do it, but it takes the stress off of it. Just anyway, so.
Yeah. And does your assistant that you have now that you brought on, does she know how to sign people up? Can she help with that?
Yep, she does. We have a clipboard right at the front desk that has, actually it's the old one because it has the old bamboo diffuser on it, but we have what's in the starter kit, and then we have the enrollment form, and I have it highlighted, so she absolutely knows how to help sign someone up. And yep, that's all. It's right there at the front desk for any time we need it.
Yeah, so I think that's great. If you're an office with a front desk person, making sure that they're educated on how to get people signed up so they can do it while you're seeing your patients. I think that's really valuable.
And not only that, but just because of what she was seeing and hearing and smelling in the office, she became a member as well. And I'm proud of her because it's never a requirement to be here. And it was interesting because I think I'll share, because I won't share her name, so it's still private. But I think the day she came in for her interview in September, last September, she said she had a migraine, non-FDA compliant. Her head was not feeling well. And within minutes of being in the office with the thieves diffusing, that her head felt wonderful. It felt
good. No, and I think that's, you've shown that you can hit gold with, just being you in your practice with support of the entire family. But if you do have a larger practice with other practitioners, massage therapists, front desks, if it's everywhere around and they're exposed and they're learning too, they will just want to sign up and keep kind of helping you out and growing. So here's just another.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, that's in the.
Here's in the bathroom.
I was just going to say, everywhere we have brochures or flyers or booklets or starter guides around, because it's an office. People wait for a few moments. They're going to pick it up. They're going to ask you about it. And that, that's how you get interest. We pretty much, over time, not in just a moment, but have incorporated it almost anywhere I can. We have the lip balms for sale at the front desk for retail. I have the roll-ons at the front desk, all of them open for people to smell or try. I mean, I get sometimes frustrated with people that won't, those are all open containers there of the lotion and the oils for people to put on. I mean, if you're not willing to invest and even have, put that out there, you're not going to go very far in a business. You have to invest in yourself and your people. You can't, the more you hold something in and don't share it, it's going to stay right where you're holding it anyway. So.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I love it's literally everywhere in your office, which is amazing because, you can't be a patient of yours and not be like, oh, she loves Young Living. Obviously you have a, standard process and other stuff too, but like you can literally see like Young Living is everywhere. It's more than oils. You've got the lotions, you have the massage oils down there. I mean, this is just great. And literally everywhere they turn, there's a flyer, a wellness thing, this here.
That's the front desk area.
Yeah, so you can see this bowl of chapsticks that you've, purchased, and these roll-ons and all of this, the Thieves sanitizer. It's literally all the products are everywhere. It's not just oils, it's everything. And I love that. And I think that's
my adjusting area in the back as a chiropractor. And those oils next to the computer are basically ones that I use on myself, or if someone brings it up, I might let them. But those are, those are there for probably me more than the patients, but I change out. And one of the things I want to make sure that we get, and I'm sure you have it on your agenda, but so how do I get people to get crazy about oils like I am? Tell them about a new oil every week, or tell them what new oil I've ordered or I'm using or trying, because if you don't keep educating and informing people about other oils, they're never going to do anything different than what they already are doing. And anyway, so I use that to display maybe the oil that I'm excited about this week, or new things or things like that.
So on your monthly orders, do you try and order, and by now you've probably tried almost everything, do you try and order something new?
Absolutely. I actually just got a bottle of Shutran last month, and it's been on my wish list for about 2 years. So I still have some things that I don't have, and and absolutely I put in my cart things that I have on my wish list. So not every month do I get something new, because honestly, some of them I use up and I have to reorder. So then I might change it and put it back in the cart for next month as on my wish list.
Okay. I think that, even as if you don't have your own practice, just as someone who is actively sharing and trying to, make a living as they're sharing this amazing stuff, to try getting new stuff on a regular basis so that you can be, oh my gosh, this new oil, this new product that I tried, and you can rave about it.
Your excitement is contagious. And when I started as a practitioner, the toothpaste, the Dentrome Plus was the first thing I ever sold retail, because everybody was looking, I couldn't find a good toothpaste without fluoride. And that was actually the first thing and only thing I had to sell at retail was Dentrome toothpaste for a few months when I started. And I'm out of the mouthwash I see there on the picture. But it's just expanded. It's expanded from there. And anyway, if I win the lottery, I'd have a lot more stock in the office.
Yeah, right. Well, you have quite the stock, and I love it. So if someone comes in and they're like, oh, the toothpaste, amazing, I want to buy this. This is kind of getting into like how you convert people or turn them into members. Do you, if they're not a member, since it's you, they're doing most of the interaction, do you then tell them about the membership, or how do you transition into that?
How the first thing we would say is, when they want to buy something, we have the catalogs at the front desk. And so the first thing we would say is, well, here's and I literally love to do it, open the catalog and show them, turn to the item in the catalog, or my assistant does, and say, here's the item, here's the retail price. This is what you would pay for the product if you were a member with Young Living. And sometimes they're like, okay, that's fine, I still just want to pay retail. But then that might be an open conversation to, oh, well, what is that membership, or what does that entail? especially, I think it opens more windows when they're actually looking at an essential oil at retail price. But anytime, you know, when you can show someone how much they would save or what they might get out of becoming a member, that's always a way to transition them.
Okay, so that's a good strategic thing to do. Keep a product guide at your front desk so your assistant, they can use that almost, even if they know the price, they can use that to look up the price. I'm doing like air quotes, you can't see me, to like look up the price. And then they can be like, oh yeah, this is the retail price. This is the member price. So I love that idea.
Well, the other thing too, when you have the catalog out, you show them, well, Young Living's not just about essential oils. They have things for children and things for, you know, facial skin care. You know, you're just flipping through the catalog and they see things, you know, you're using, everything has an intention, you know, or a meaning to it when you're doing that. Yes.
Yeah. And then of course you have so much in your office, especially that's open, that they can say, oh, that lotion over there, go try it. Or if they're interested in
and honestly, again, for someone just starting out, oh, that's my new baby. I just got that new kit.
I wanted to wait till we were ready because I was like, oh, that's the good picture.
But that's the thing is, let me tell you, most of the things that are open, I didn't purchase just to have as a sample. I purchased maybe for myself, and then once it got down to the bottom, I would then use it as a sample. So I'm not going to say, hey, I just had all the money to go buy all these samples, you know, and use them all as samples. No, but I try to, you know, I might save a little bit, you know, maybe a third of a toothpaste to have as a sample or something like that. So it's one step at a time. This did not happen overnight for me either. So.
Yeah, that's great. I love that tip. I would not have thought about that.
All of my roll-ons at the front desk, I wait until I've used them until it's maybe a fourth left or just a little bit, because I'm not here to give away the bank. No, I am being smart about how I share, but sometimes even having something very close to the end of the bottle, they can smell it, they can enjoy the aroma, and they can get the drift of that sample. So
yeah, of course. And I mean, of course, the stuff you do purchase for the office, you can write off, but you have to come up, you know, with that out of pocket in the beginning. Right. So, all right. So yes, this is amazing. You're doing like happy hands over there.
It makes me smile and you know what, it's right next to where I adjust my patients, and every oil user, we just look at it and we go, it makes me smile. That new case is phenomenal. I just got that new case about a couple weeks ago. It sold out the first time they had it out.
Okay, so this is the new and improved Aroma Complete, correct?
I just purchased the empty case and put my oils in it, but yes, it does. The new Aroma Complete does come in this case. Yes, okay. Yes, the new one comes in. Yes.
Okay, so you purchased the case and then put all of your oils in it, which is just a beautiful display. I love it. So love that case.
I got that case because it stands up that I can take it to events or classes and have it stand up and just show people the variety of things that are available. So yes, it was definitely a business expense. Yes.
Yeah, cool. And if you're someone who is like, I'm ready to stock my office, what's the fastest way I can do this? You can literally buy this kit stocked full of oils, and it's expensive, but you can write it off for your business and you don't even have to think about it, and you've got a huge stockpile. So love that. Here, most used, yoga, love it. Essential oil tips. So here's kind of your little shelving unit with all of your educational stuff. So that's super easy to just grab and give. I love that. Let's see. All right. You mentioned the Zyto scan, and I have the iTovi, and it sounds like you just got that as well.
I got the iTovi about a month ago as well. Let my members know and my business builders what something's like, or maybe let them come and use it here in my office, because I do have some resources that other builders might not have in the beginning. So yes.
Okay, you cut out a little bit, so we missed just a little bit. So you let other builders come in and scan their members, or no? Did I miss?
I actually, yes, anybody can. What I was saying was that I like to keep up with what's new, and because of my ability as an established business, I might have the ability to purchase something before some new business builders might. So I like to be able to tell them my experience, or let them come and try it in my office and help people out that way. Yes.
Okay.
But I've had the Zyto for a while.
Great, great. And the Zyto, you place your hand on this, you need to hook it up to a computer. There is a monthly fee that you charge, or that they charge for you to have the Zyto. The iTovi is just a little handheld device. I wish I had mine right in front of me so I could show you, but it's just a little handheld. You can use your iPhone, so it's a little bit more portable. Does basically the same thing, measures your frequencies and then gives you recommendations for products. Maybe you can speak to the difference, which you like better. The iTovi, I was just going to say, the iTovi does have a plan where you can pay a little bit more up on the front end, and then you do not have that monthly fee. As a practitioner, you are using it regularly, so maybe that monthly fee isn't a big deal to you. I don't have a health practice. I just am doing monthly classes, and my members are absolutely loving the iTovi. They're scanning for things. They're learning about new products. I'm learning about new products by scanning. Then they're going home and they're ordering these products on their essential rewards. So I think it is really, really valuable just for that extra piece of, tapping into maybe what else they need for their health, and just growing that need. And I don't charge my members to scan. So I assume you don't. I don't know how you.
I don't charge either. I've always left it at that. I possibly might if someone wasn't in my downline, but I honestly, it's just it's such a little expense for the value that you can do and share. I don't charge anyone to come in and do the Zyto.
And when you can tell us how long you've had the Zyto, and did you notice an increase when you started letting your members scan on there? Did you notice an increase in your overall group volume or anything like that?
I don't do it. I would say a little bit. Most of, I only have so many local people that are able to come in and do it. So I've actually been using the Zyto for nutrition as a health practitioner for years. And so I wasn't new to the Zyto overall. But yes, absolutely, it does increase sales, whether it's a patient that's not even a Young Living member, but just wanted to know what essential oils might benefit them, and so they might purchase something at retail, or whether I do have some people that like to come in before they place their essential rewards order and see what shows up as beneficial for them, and so they can add it to their order. So yes, it is definitely can help increase your sales and your people trying new items or new things, and then it goes along with having then some of the oils for them to actually then go and smell after it shows up on their scan to see if they're like, oh, okay, I'd like to get that, or I'd like to try that.
Cool. I love that. It's
very. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my sister just texted and said, "Are you looking at the chat?" I said, "Not really. I have too much stuff going on my screen here, and we'll get to that after." But she said, "Barbara asked if you'll be taking questions." We will if we have time, which I think we might have time. I think we're getting to the end of these pictures, so let me just scan through.
That's just storage. You can go right through that. That's just how we have things for make and takes and for events and. Yeah. It's a work in progress, but yes, you will, as you go and get in the business, you'll have more things that you have and resources anyway.
Yeah, so I see, spray bottles, coconut oil, you keep your tubes, love that. I keep all mine too for shipping things to people. And then that's what I carry in my purse. Some of the oils I have the roll-ons and things like that, but yes, I have them everywhere on me. I love my oils. I live my oils, and anyway, yes, that's all. Yeah, so cool. And of course, like we've talked about before, just you being a product of the product. So using the product. I mean, I wanted to add this picture because this is your stash. You use these, you carry these with you. And I think that's really important. In my bathroom, I've got 4.5 baths, and I have every bathroom stocked with toothpaste, Thieves, or lavender soap, mouthwash for anyone that comes to stay. They get, the showers decked with conditioner and shampoo. So like we've had lots of guests come down to visit us, and when they're staying in our bathrooms, they see all the Young Living and they ask me questions. So, I'm sure you use all that stuff at home too.
Yeah, yes, I do.
All right, so I think we covered, I'm just going to look at my notes to see if there's anything else that I had wanted to ask. I think just maybe we could touch a little bit more on, we've mentioned and said the words investing in your business. So when you get your Young Living checks, now you're seeing a profit, a benefit of that, but you said it's really important for you to invest in your business. So, and you also said you'll probably be doing the promo 2 times. So what does your monthly orders look like? How much is for you, the office? You really try and hit those promos, or what does that look like?
I take advantage of the promotions, absolutely, like any smart member would, or business builder. I don't always do 2 orders for the promotions, because you have to look at, do I want the promotion or do I want the ER points? So, that always goes back and forth. But I probably spend around $1,000 a month on Young Living products. I would say about maybe a quarter of that is personal, because, sometimes I'll buy an oil for personal use and you don't go through every bottle every month. So I use a lot of oils. So every day, every morning I have my own routine, kind of based on Gary's Happy Day protocol, but I have probably 8 to 10 different oils that I put on me every day. Just because they help me, and I love them. But so I would say about a quarter of that is personal use. When I do get my check, the majority of it still is going back into product, and anybody that owns a business will know, cash flow, you have to invest in having the things on the shelf. I have been able to go to more seminars, more events, more Young Living events, because of the checks that I've gotten. My goal this year is to transition and have more where I might actually be in the green, and maybe have some more of what you would call profit from my checks. But that's not my goal. Is that residual? This is my retirement. This is my why, is that I don't want to work harder, but I want to work smarter and be able to enjoy life and all this has to offer. So
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you're running a practice, so you're making, money off of your practice to pay your bills and all of that. So, the Young Living stuff is, maybe just extra right now, or you're investing a lot of it. But I think that's a good approach, is that you're investing it now so you can really build that nest egg of residual income for later, for your retirement. I think that's hard for even, not a healthcare, someone who runs a healthcare practice, is finding the value in putting in time and effort now, and investing your checks back into your business. They kind of get lost in that and don't see the big picture, that yes, you're putting it back in and your time and energy, but down the road, it's just going to be exponential, and you're really going to see the benefits.
Absolutely. And I think anybody should at least count on 30 to 40% of their check, at least for a while, intelligently, I think, to put back into you, whether it's a class or reference materials or oils or starter kit to have on hand. Anyway.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to ask you, and then we can get to some questions, and you just tell me if you're running out of time on your end. I've got the sitter till when we're done. So good, I covered my butt over here. So education for you, if you're a new chiropractor starting out and you're like, oh, I don't, how do I do this education when I don't know? I tell people just get the class notes and read the class notes. But as, if you're someone that wants to learn for yourself, for your practice, for your patients, what's, the first place to start? Do you listen to the podcast that the Revolution Oils does? That's a great, resource I point out. I know you've gone to conventions, so you could maybe mention that if you learn stuff there, and those kinds of things. So what are you doing for education?
I would love to say I've listened to the podcast. I haven't, although they look wonderful and they're on my to-do list. But realistically, most health practitioners don't have time to do everything we'd like to do. How I learn, honestly, is by listening to my patients' needs and figuring out how I can help them. Going to my reference materials in that moment during their visit, and if they might ask me something, and I have on my phone, the Oily app, or something that I can go, oh, let's look this up. I don't know the answer to that. Let's figure it out. That's how I learn. I learn something new every day. I look at the graphics that the Oily Family makes, and literally I'll make simple handouts like the Embrace Wellness handout. I might not know everything, that's every word that's on there. You don't have to know any of it, but you have the resource to give to someone for them to go read about it. And I think that's what most of my patients love about me, is that I don't claim to know a lot about anything, really. I do know a lot, but that we go and let's look it up real quick. And it doesn't take but a second. If you have an app on your phone or a resource that you trust, or say, you know what, I'll check that out. And next time you come in, I'll have an idea for you. But that's because I'm never going to have 5 hours to just go study reference materials or learn, what I would like to learn. That's just not going to happen in my world. And I still use my class notes when I give a class. Even after a year and a half, I read from my notes. Every class might change slightly because I've learned more since the last class, but I still read my notes.
I love that.
Thank you for our notes.
Yes, I went back to reading notes, even though I could teach one without, but it helps keep me on track, keep me focused. And then it's all about duplication. If you haven't heard about duplication, learn more about duplication, because that's going to grow your business. So I love, even for your patients, they're seeing you learn in the moment. And then hopefully, and I haven't asked you this, if some of your current builders, they were patients, I think you mentioned that, so that they can see, I'm not a chiropractor, I don't have all this information, I can't share, but really you give them the opportunity to, like, I don't know everything, like I'm just looking up in the book right here with you, so you can do the same thing.
Absolutely. And important about that is empowering your members, because you're never going to be able to answer every question for them. And that doesn't do them a service if you answer everything for them and don't inspire them to go find out the information for themselves. We can't be everything to every person, and that's not how to build someone that can go forward and be empowered. So anyway, that's another reason I don't, even sometimes when I know the answer, I'll go walk them to something and show them, because I don't want to be that they just ask me. I want them to know.
Yeah, you don't want 100 emails at the end of the day like, what oil do I use? So do you gift the reference book when someone becomes a member under you?
I do give reference materials. I was taught that by our wonderful upline, Alyssa and Myra and Susan. Absolutely. And that is the best thing, that reference material. I also, I've discovered flyers that I give out too that are very inexpensive. But yes, absolutely. They get almost anything that I might have handing around, like the Thieves booklet or the Everywhere Lifestyle booklet. Absolutely, they get that. And they also get a couple starter guides with my information on them or without, however they'd prefer. Because some people, I'll say, well, I know you're going to want to share with someone, but would you like to for me to have my information on it so you can just refer them here, and then I will help them be signed up under you? Or would you like to put your own information on and possibly think about maybe doing this as the business? So I give them that opportunity, but absolutely empower them. That is well invested money for you and for them.
Okay. I have a couple people asking, since we're talking about handouts, resources and stuff like that, what are a few things to put in your office to start if you're a brand new chiropractor that's just starting out incorporating the oils?
I would, I'm looking up, okay, so first thing I did was basically print out the free graphics from Oily Families. I mean, just go through the files and the photos. If you have a colored printer, free. Put it in a plastic sleeve and put it in a binder. Have something around the office. It doesn't have to be investment of a lot of money. After probably about a year after I started doing handouts, I started getting the booklets from Young Living, the Thieves booklet, the Everywhere Lifestyle, the Essential Rewards, the ART booklet. Those are wonderful, but they're a little bit more money, so I use a little bit more discretion when handing those out. But now with people being so tech savvy, I have on my phone in my memos, I have all the links to all of those booklets. So I can just forward it to a member, prospective member, a builder, and I even forward, how to make their own link so that they have it right there. So those are the booklets from Young Living I love. Then I also have the starter guides from Oil Revolutions, and their flyers. Excellent, excellent. I love their information. And then more recently, because we did a event for thousands of people, and I couldn't afford the booklets for 5,000 people, is I got from Essential Tools the flyers that are compliant, FDA compliant, and they're about 5 cents a piece, I think, or maybe even less when you get some. So those are phenomenal. Those are some of the handouts that I use right now.
Okay, so we've got Oily Tools where you've gotten flyers from, those reference guides, which are not Young Living, but of course you can contact me and I can help you. And then just the Embrace Wellness, I print those out for everyone too at class. Those are free. I'm starting to give away the Think Inside the Box, the 21 days. So when you're giving your reference book, have that printed out. Again, that one is free to just, cost for printing. That's it. You can even do that one in black and white.
We have labels to put in the reference guides that were just updated. Alyssa posted, so yeah, there's all kinds of resources, but you don't have to go big in the beginning. Go simple, little handouts and things. Yeah.
Okay. And Amanda also said she's asking for a chiropractor that she just signed up. She said, when you first started sharing, what was the first thing you did to share with others? And I'm not exactly sure what she means, share with others about the oils. I mean, you talked about just using them on yourself in front of them. I think you mentioned.
Yep, the first thing I did was just have the diffuser going all the time, because people walk in and smell thieves. And so people would come in and say, oh, what's that? Or it smells wonderful in here, or it smells like cloves, or whatever they smell. And so they would ask about it. We're like, oh, yeah, that's thieves. And then we could show them a flyer or a handout on thieves. But then, yes, using them on myself, that was probably the primary way that I first started using them.
Okay. Yeah. So she's saying to have in her office. So have a diffuser going, the starter kit, maybe so that they can see right away the starter kit, since that's what's going to be what you're converting.
And in the beginning, I every day took my own diffuser to and from the office. I only had one diffuser when I started. I only had my kit. So you do whatever you need to do. Every day it was in my briefcase to take home with me, because I didn't want to be without my diffuser at home. But it was quite a few months before I had money to get another diffuser. Cash flow, people. But so it wasn't like this all in the beginning. And I was ecstatic the day I got a second diffuser and didn't have to carry mine back and forth every day. So,
yeah, for sure. Take advantage of the promo this month and get your second diffuser, right? But now your Young Living checks, they're paying for the products that you're putting in office.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Great. And then Barbara is asking, there's a couple questions, and I might have some good answers to this too. She wants to approach local chiropractors, possibly offer to teach a one-on-one class. What's the best way to approach them and tell them about the benefits of their business? You can kind of share your thoughts. I had a few thoughts.
In my opinion, again, everybody's different, but as far as chiropractors go, there's typically the chiropractors that are just adjusting and don't do anything outside of chiropractic in their office. The ones that do nutrition are probably going to be more open to something like Young Living, or either that or they've had some experience with essential oils in the past. And so approaching them to do a class, it depends on the mentality of that chiropractor, because some chiropractors, honestly, they don't want to do anything other than what they're doing. They don't want to take the time to learn. They're not me. And so to go and say, hey, Dr. Jane or whoever, Dr. Bob, I'd love to do this for you. And you might be able to come up with an agreement, maybe gift them with oils or something, and they want you to come in just because they want to offer something extra for their patients, but they don't want to do it. Maybe they would be interested in the business side, and you work out some. Obviously, if they're in your downline, you'd all benefit by doing that and getting people to sign up and showing them the benefits. You really have to. It's all about relationships. All of our leaders say that you have to figure out, what does that person want? Listen to them. What's important to them? Are they looking for residual income? Are they just looking to have someone just come in just to give a resource of something else different for their clients, and maybe they're happy with you just providing a diffuser for them and oils to keep it going all the time? Everybody is so different. You listen to what they have to say. Let them talk about themselves and tell you what they need and what they want.
Yeah, I think probably just seeing, calling and asking if they have an office manager. If they have an office manager, try and set up a time to talk with them. If not, just going in there, introducing yourself, learning about the practice. Like you said, listening to them, asking questions, find out what the practice needs are. You know, if they're doing other things like muscle testing and stuff like that, then they're definitely going to be more geared towards nutrition, have those other supplements, be looking for other things that can really benefit their patients. I think just taking the approach of just showing them the value of adding oils in, which we've really talked about this entire time, is that, you know, the patients are, you know, seeing a difference. And it's really just adding a benefit to that. And also better nutrition. I'm not a chiropractor, but I've just heard this, so you can confirm. Better nutrition helps people hold adjustments longer and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. If, in my opinion, you know, chiropractic removes the interference, you know, in your body that might prevent things from working. But the raw materials, the nutrition, the essential oils, that absolutely can contribute to holding your adjustments longer and helping you be healthier. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know, you know, what the timeline is as far as, you know, sometimes you see patients for adjustments really frequently, and then, you know, hopefully, and your patient's hoping they get to a point where maybe they don't need you or just need to come see you on occasion, you know, but the oils they're going to use every single day, they're always going to use them. So, you know, having that to convert your chiropractic patients to also oilers so that when they aren't needing your adjustments, and maybe this is wrong. Maybe people always need adjustments. I love going to the chiropractor and like to do it a lot. But when they're not in your practice anymore, or they move away, you know, and they can't come physically see you, they can still be a member with the oils and using the oils, and you can benefit financially with that residual income because they were a member in your practice. So those are kind of some things maybe you can talk about. Again, asking questions, listening to what their practice is like. And then just kind of like fit in where you think they could benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Any other questions from anyone? I think we've pretty much touched it all. Let me just read on this side.
While you're doing that, I'll say, you know, yes, I talked a lot about people can come in and do Zyto and come and smell the oils and things, but I don't just, I mean, I always recommend that someone calls ahead and I schedule time. You know, I schedule a consultation. I might not charge for that moment, but especially being a one-woman show most of the time, no, I don't let 50 people walk in my door and take over my chiropractic practice when that is why I'm here and what I started with first. But it all seamlessly fits in because I manage the time. You know, I'll tell someone, make an appointment. If you have some questions, you want to talk about oils, I'll be happy to give you a little class on the spot, you know, do a mini class or something. But I you know, I always say, you know, schedule it, make sure that we have the time because that's just the best way so that I'm 100% focused on you when you come in and have questions. So
yeah, and I do think, and even as, you know, just my business out of my home, doing those monthly, like having a routine every single month, I'm going to do a 101. Every single month, I'm going to do, you know, a member event, or maybe you combine them because you only have one free night where new members can come and learn about the kit, but then you also kind of dive into some other new products. You offer scans to members at the event, and so that kind of gets them excited about new things. I think that would be beneficial to practices to just, and I've noticed for myself, I moved to a new location and it's like, I wanted to like gauge who's interested in coming, then I'll pick a date, and people are like, oh, wishy-washy. And it's just like, once I just picked a date and went for it and then just started inviting, or in your office, just slap that date up on your board, people will come. People will, you know, shift their schedules around if they really want to be there. So just picking that one date every month, if that's all you can do, and that's a great start to just have something every month. June, I'll be doing something. July, I'll be doing something, so that your members know there's some consistency and your patients know, well, I can't catch this, but I know she's going to have one next month, so I'll catch that one.
Absolutely. And I've had as few as 2 people come to a class, and I've had as many as I think 25 at a class. You don't know. I mean, that, it's ridiculous to expect that you're going to have a guarantee. Nothing in business of any kind is guarantees to it, but not like that. So do it. But if you don't do it and put yourself out there, you're never going to get the return, the reward on it as well. So absolutely. Just make it happen. I mean, talk about it if absolutely.
Yeah. That one person that shows up could turn into a builder.
Absolutely. You never know. Don't underestimate. Yeah.
That's totally happened to me. I was so bummed. Oh, only 2 people showed up at this class I did at a non-toxic or toxic-free spa, and was totally bummed. And then one turned into a builder, and I was like, well, that was worth it. And I was so bummed about it. And then, okay, last thing. Since convention is coming up, we have to talk about convention, because now I know you're going, so we will hopefully meet at convention. But how, you said you've been to convention. When we talked earlier, Silver Retreat you went on because you qualified for that, which I'll be going this year. Now you're going to be going on Gold Retreat because you have hit gold 3 consecutive months. So speaking to convention, you also said you've been to beauty school, which dying to go. So how have those benefited your Young Living business, because it can be, an expense
Absolutely.
for the plane ticket and all of that. How has it benefited you, personally, your Young Living business? How do you feel about that and making the effort to make it to those events?
Absolutely. I think it is a no-brainer to think about. If you really want to be invested in this, you need to go and become involved in events. The first last year convention was the first convention I had been at, because honestly, before that, I was like, convention. I don't need, why would I need to go to that? Why would I want to go to that? And last year, as I started seeing all these resources, and anyway, I was like, I need to go. And I went by myself, and I met so many crossline friends, and at the even Silver Retreat, and I actually did the care intensive training last year as well. Everything has gone into building me. And if you have been not looking at your Facebook recently, or any social media, everything, Alyssa and Myra and Susan Hyde, my sponsor, it's about working on us. If you don't work on yourself, you're never going to grow in your business. It's about us and our headspace and how we think and what we believe and what we know about the products. If you're not willing to learn about them and use them more, then you're only going to go so far. You can't, Young Living is about sharing from your heart. And if you don't have that passion and don't believe in it, it's not going to happen the way you think it will. But every one of those was time away from my office. I closed my office for days, sometimes even almost a whole week. And every one of them came back benefiting me in the long run because of the information I got, the information I was able to share with builders or with patients or with clients, or just having more certainty in my knowledge. And so it might not have been something I noticed in that second, but every one of those events. And I did Myra's boot camp last year, which is phenomenal. Anyone that doesn't take advantage of Myra's boot camp needs to do a head check or something, because that was that was the first time I ever made a video when I had to do it for my homework about my why. And I think it took me about 2 weeks to get through it because it was such out of my comfort zone. Anyway, but every one of those things, and the cross-line people that I met that are still friends and support and resources for me. You can't buy that. That is priceless stuff. So if you can get to any event at any time, go.
Yeah, I'm super excited to go to convention. I changed my plane ticket, had to pay hundreds of dollars to change my plane ticket because I was going to miss Gary. And I was like, I can't miss Gary. Everyone says don't miss Gary. So I literally had already spent too much on my plane ticket because I waited, and then had to spend hundreds more to change it. But it's totally worth it. You can't, those experiences are priceless, and I know they're going to be. I'm excited to see the farm. That's going to just change, what I can tell my members, and what you've been able to tell patients. Like, I've seen the farm, I've seen the lavender, like, it's amazing.
when they see the pictures of you walking in the lavender field when you go to Silver Retreat, I mean, that is just, it is priceless. You can say, I've been there. This is, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So great. So super excited about that. Beauty school is another one where you learn all skincare, stuff like that. So if you're wanting more education on that, that's a great one. I think you get to experience the spas there and the springs.
Yes, you can go to those. Yes, those are optional. Yes.
Okay. So just, it sounds like super beneficial for, they always say network marketing is personal growth with a comp plan. I 100% believe that you need to work on yourself, focus on yourself, and just have wellness for yourself, use these products on yourself, and you will succeed. Katie is saying they have beauty school on a cruise.
This year now they have it in a castle and on a cruise and all kinds of different options. It only was in at the one location, but yes, thank you for reminding us. I'm not going to make it to the cruise, but I will get to another one in the next year.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you. I think we've covered a ton of stuff. I hope that this was helpful for, you can pass this along to some of your builders to share. Even if you're not a chiropractor, I think, or a healthcare professional with your own practice, I think this is beneficial to still pass along to other builders so that they can watch and just get an idea of how this does work in a health practice, because you may end up signing someone up that can really benefit from this information. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you.
Person, it's worth it. So yes.
Yeah. So this has been awesome. So grateful. I'm like getting teary. I love meeting new people and cross-line members. So this has been great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You did a wonderful job. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. If you guys have questions about this or anything, feel free to email me, yleo.withchrissy@gmail.com. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Good day. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.